So I'm not going to yak y'all's ear off about this one. Of course, most of you actual people who play this game on a regular basis know some of the things that are going on with the Division 2, the updates, the patches, and everything else. Some of y'all don't know that skills are actually getting a buff of 30% because skill mods will be coming into your gear slots. That was actually given and shown in one person's video on the PTS. So skills are going to get a 30% buff. Other things are getting nerfs, other things are getting buffs, just period. That's all this is about. So let's jump into some of these talents and things like that that need buffs instead of nerfs, because I'd rather see buffs all day long than nerfs because of ding-dongs. And you see right here we have a shit ton of talents, a ton of them. Spotter, a perfect one, which they've finally implemented, is going to give a 5% increase. So cool, now my skill is going to do 5% more damage, and my gun's going to do 5% more damage because of the new spotter. Overwatch, which is barely ever used talent, and the perfect one, which would be on a Fenris, which pray to God they get rid of, that one Fenris chest piece which has a perfect Overwatch. Maybe they'll change that. Glass Cannon, it gives 25 versus this one here gives 20. Why don't you give us other talents like on the chest pieces that give 25% damage, like Glass Cannon right here, or the perfect one of 30? Like for instance this one. Why not increase the weapon damage or increase the duration to 10 seconds? Because there's a backpack talent, I think it's called Versatile, which gives it for 10 seconds. So why is this one at 5? Like, that doesn't make sense. Why not give us a perfect one that still gives us 20 or 25% and at 10 seconds duration? The perfect spark, it doesn't increase in damage, it increases in duration. Why not give us the perfect spark at 25% damage and it still lasts for 15 seconds or something like that? Why don't you fix that? You know, trauma right here, another one that players use in PvP because you're screwing over PvP players. Why not give us something where we shoot their feet and it causes riot foam, or decrease the time to come back? Obliterate, which gives 25% for 5 seconds. Why not give us one with a perfect one, which increases it for 10 seconds? So we actually have a chance to reload, run around a corner, get away, and then turn around and shoot. You know, we have all these other ones. Perfect Headhunter, that's a good one. I mean, it's already strong. But what about for those skill builds? Kinetic Momentum. Why not give us a perfect Kinetic Momentum or something like that? Or a perfect tag team, you know, a completely useless talent. Why not give this here some extra weapon damage? Say it gives us 10% more weapon damage as we're shooting a player or something like that, instead of just giving us cooldown on our skills. Give us some extra bonuses so people want to use these types of weird talents. How about on the backpack, you know, like Combined Arms, it's on a Hannah U. Tech Support, we don't know why the hell it's on an Alps when it gives repair skill and it's a damage deal. Why not put this on a Wyvern? Like this one here, you know, it's on China Light. You got Wyvern, and then you got Hannah U. Things that actually do damage. The perfect Bloodsucker, hell, I don't even know why we don't have a perfect safeguard for this kind of stuff. You know? Where it increases skill damage and increases players' weapon damage or something. Protector, why not give us more armor? So players actually want to use this in the DZ, PvP, other things. Instead of 5%, why not give us like 10% or 20%? And like I was saying, Versatile right here. See, it gives us a 10-second duration, but the other one only gives us 5. Why not give us, say, 40% weapon damage for swapping weapons? Keep it at 10 and get the other one to 10. Give us perfect ones of this so they can match other ones, not take away from players. Because that's what y'all do. You listen to these guys who are like, oh, this needs to be fixed. Oh, this needs to be fixed. This needs to be dropped down because it's too much damage, too much damage. Hell, why not increase the other ones so they match? Like this one here, perfect unstoppable force. Kill a player. You get 25% damage once you max them all out. Perfect composure, you know, maybe increase this one to 20 or something like that. Perfect companion would be another great one. Players would love to have companion where instead of 5 meters, it gives us, say, 10 meters or something like that, and still 15%. We would run this all day long. We could be next to players or anything and be 10 meters away rather than 5 meters where we have to be right beside each other. Concussion. You know, another one, a good perfect one for concussion. Perfect wicked. This one needs to be looked at because it increases the duration from 7. Why not increase this one, like I've said, to say 25 or maybe even just 20? And here's one that really needs to be worked on. If you're going to bring back something like the new one where you can spot players, fix clutch. Get rid of this bottom piece where kills allow up to and repair up to 100%. It shouldn't say allow, or it shouldn't even have the duration on there for 4 to 10 seconds. It should be instantaneous. You want to bring back some metas, get rid of this bottom part of this talent. That's how you can fix this game. But you don't listen to the proper players or the proper content creators. You don't listen to us. This is what irritates a lot of players. And then you've got the weapon talents. Like all of these, every weapon talent has a perfect one. It's on some really good weapons and some of them are on some really bad ones. But for instance, right here, we can go over all of these all day long and they all have a perfect talent of somewhere. But in sync, it says using a skill. So I should be able to get the same for 30% for this one here, which is 20. Why not increase it 5 more percent? Just increase it 5 more percent. It would hit the same. And no one would complain about NSYNC because then they'd have a different build that they could use, similar to an NSYNC one, and get some more damage. And Vindictive, the perfect one only gives 3% more crit chance and crit hit damage. Why not increase this thing to 25 or even 40%? I mean, hell, you got Strained, Perfect Strained, and I think there's another one. I think it's Perfect Killer that gives 40%. Yeah, this one here is, okay, it's 25%. You got a Perfect Strained on a weapon that shoots really freaking slow. Close and personal, you have a perfect one, which this one gives 30, which is great, but the perfect one gives 38. Why do you have that big of a jump compared to some of these other ones? Like this one goes from 30 to 40. And this one here, it's a 40% increase of crit hit damage. Like I said about Vindictive. Why don't you give us that kind of stuff where it's not just 40%, but say it's 20 on Vindictive, 20% crit chance and 20% crit damage, and you get 40% here. Like some of these that here, like this one here, no one ever uses this in PvP. People use this one here, and it's on an SMG, but it only gives 3% more. 3% on the back end. And 3% less of the fire rate on the front end. Which matches this right here for 30%. But it's on the back end. Why not give us, like the other one, like I said, close and personal, which gives 38. Why not give this one here 38%, or give the perfect one 40? You know, there's some things you could work on to give more damage rather than taking away from players. That's my point. And then I get that you're going to try to swap away from a certain meta. I'm not saying that NSYNC it needs to be fixed or it doesn't need to be fixed. But what I'm saying is for these idmos out here who sit here and say that this doesn't work, let's show you. I shoot my weapon, I get my first proc because I do weapon damage, but that gives me skill damage. And then it says using a skill or damaging an enemy with a skill. So if I use a skill, it's going to give me the other 15. So, oh look, I used a skill. I used a shield. A shield is a skill. I didn't. Oh look, I toss a skill. Oh, there, I got that. Look, I cancel a skill. Doesn't do anything. But I still used a skill. So using a skill should count. So for those people who are crying about how, oh, shields need to be nerfed and not be able to use this, I just used a skill. Look, I use it, boom, I get that proc. I shoot, I get that proc. That's how it works. That's what it states. If you didn't read that right, I'm sorry, but people who don't need to go back and read it. Like, it's stupid. Like, seriously, I use a skill right there. I get a proc. That simple. Use a skill, get a proc. I shoot the gun, I get a proc. Use and shoot a skill, I get both procs. Boom. Just that simple. And then on top of that, you're sitting there saying that it doesn't work. Well, what about those players who, let's do this. Let's put on a drone, okay? So this is the way that they want it to work. And it's always worked this way. No big deal. Look, I used a skill. There's a proc. It's not even shooting, but I still got the proc because I used a skill. Now it goes out there and shoots. Okay, so now it's doing damage. Okay, now I shoot. I get that proc. It's the same thing. I popped the skill out, it went out, it didn't even shoot, but I still got the proc. I used a skill. It does like it says. I use a shield. A shield is a skill. If you think a shield isn't a skill, you are the guys who have a problem and don't realize this. But like I said before, the metas will change. People will find another way to do this, to get the most damage out of a build. And whatever build gives the most damage, the fastest way to kill players, they're going to take to PvP. And that's what they're going to do, and they're going to use that. But every single time there's an update of some sort, the first thing every player hears is, we're nerfing this, we're nerfing that. There's never any time, hey, we're buffing this. The best example I have is the Eagle Bearer was so overpowered, and then they nerf it. Then they buff it, then they nerf it. And they did the same thing, I think, even with the Nemesis and a few other ones as well when they first came out. And then the devs go, well, we don't want you to be reliant on exotics. What? They're hard to come by. Why not give those like the best talents out there? And then at the same time, the one thing that every player has always asked for the most is the dealing with status builds and skills and things like that. And then the devs go out here and give more damage to status and skills. And then they say, hey, you're not supposed to be able to use this shield or anything else like that. Like, come on, man. Are you serious with this stuff? Like, I mean, if you're going to do that kind of deal, at least give us one thing. Okay, give us one thing that we really, really want. Okay, and that's things like, here, let me show you actually. So if anybody knows, prior to TU7, the Hollow Man mask used to have 50% hazard protection plus the 10% hazard protection, which was already on there. Basically giving you about 60% total hazard protection. They go and change it to health damage. If they would just give us 20% here, or even 30% at max, and then having that other piece, we would be able to have more build diversity because we could avoid some hazards. And then the skill builds wouldn't hit as hard. But they changed it up. And another thing, like I was saying here earlier, like the perfect talents. Think I got it on here. Pray I do. But yeah, here we go. Okay, perfect spark. It's 15% for 20 seconds. So I get 15% damage, and the other ones have 20, 25. But then if I go down here to the regular spark, oh look, it's 15 for 15 seconds. Why just increase the duration? Why not increase the damage on the perfect ones? So people would want to run this. It would make it better in slot. They'd be able to get that. But no, you have people who cry and complain about, oh, this is being bad. This is too OP and PvP. And they only play PvE mainly. And they don't ever go into the PvP deal. Like, why would you do that in the first place? Why are you listening to those players? You have a game that does PvE and does PvP at the same time. But you make everything more about the PvE style than the PvP players. And you hurt your other players. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's going to be a new meta that's going to come out. And we're going to have to figure out what that is. I'm not saying metas won't change. But what I'm saying is, why nerf things into the ground or nerf them completely when all you had to do was go over here and buff these by, let's say, 5% on certain ones, the perfect ones? Why not? I mean, you're already doing it to the spotter piece. You're giving that one to a 20 from a 15. Why not buff the other ones instead of nerf, nerf, nerf? And listening to players that actually call for nerfs is a horrible, horrible idea, especially when they admit they don't like PvP.
Golf clap? Golf clap.